this video I'm going to be making some small updates to my 1991 Specialized hard rock cruz, which I built up about a year ago. So I'm going to be replacing one of the fender stays, putting some bar tape on my swept-back bars, and installing a light mount before I go for a little ride and do a bike check. I really liked these PDW full metal fenders because they were super easy to install, and the stays didn't require any cutting at all, which was awesome. But that was actually on another bike, on a Trek single track. And on this hard rock, the chain stays are a little bit longer, so the original stay wasn't quite long enough, and I was running it kind of bodged in for a little while, but it popped out the P-clips and then it was just rubbing the wheel. Luckily, PDW make aftermarket stays that are a little bit longer, and that's been really super helpful. So overall, I definitely highly recommend these mud guards. They're not the cheapest, but if you do have the budget, they just are really comprehensive, super well made, and kind of intuitive to install. I've had some terrible afternoons trying to install SKS mud guards, but certainly nothing bad to say about SKS. They do the job really well and are well made as well, but can really suck to install. But these full metal fenders from PDW are so much simpler because you don't have to do any cutting or drilling. They just go on. It's a dream. I actually do a bit of a naughty thing with this bike. The dropout spacing on this hard rock is 130 millimeters, but my rear wheel spacing is 135 millimeters. I think it's okay. I just kind of pull the chain stays apart and slam the wheel in. It doesn't really work on my stand though. I have to get the bike upside down on the ground and give things a good bash. I dread the day that I have to fix a flat on the roadside. It'll probably be a nightmare with all the stress and the squeezing. I bet it'll happen this winter when it's snowing, probably. I got these bolt cutters super cheap from a hardware store. They're not very good, but they did the job for cutting my stay. Not a very clean cut, but you always gotta file off the burrs anyway. Now I'm just tightening everything up for the moment of truth, giving the wheel a spin and making sure nothing rubs. As you can see, I play things pretty fast and loose when it comes to installing things on my own bike, so I haven't actually used a tape measure here or anything. I've just fired it all on in the faith that I'll nail it first try, which often causes me problems, but I felt pretty confident this time. I also lost a bolt for the mud flap, so I had to use one I found in my parts bin, which isn't matchy, but hey, check it out, that wheel's spinning and nothing's rubbing. Hell yeah. My friend George from Dalry Bicycle Depot gave me this little bit of metal with several holes drilled in to use as a light stay for my light mount thing on my front rack, which was super cool of him, so thank you, George. As you can see, I installed it first try with not enough clearance for my light, so I had to swap it to the last little hole there, and that worked out all good. The light mount is from PDW as well, and again, simple and well made. Boop! Pew! Nice. Okay, so you might be thinking, what the heck am I doing? But I have had good results using hand sanitizer to kind of clean the grease and dust and grime off things before sticking decals and stickers onto it, on bikes and other things. So I figured, since my handlebars have been on this bike for a good little while, that cleaning them off with some hand sanitizer will be a good prep for sticking this bar tape onto it. And I don't care what you think. I reckon it works pretty well. I've not installed much handlebar tape in my lifetime, so I'll admit I definitely did a pretty horrible job of this, but it's good enough. I actually use that second position ahead of my brake levers where the handlebar tape is quite a bit. I find it quite comfy. It almost feels like the drops position on a set of drop bars. And it's been getting cold as autumn comes in, and the handlebars, bare metal, are so cold. Even through gloves on colder days I can feel it, so I wanted to tape them up for a bit more comfort, especially with the long, cold, dark Scottish winter approaching. Although surprisingly so far this autumn's been quite mild, which has been awesome, and I've been getting to ride my bike with just a t-shirt on, but the cold always comes. A few days before this ride, we actually had our first named storm of the season with, I think it was 70 miles per hour winds. It was very short. It was just one evening. It didn't seem too crazy, but actually I noticed quite a few trees and branches hanging lower because they had come down from the wind over the bike path here. And for some reason I didn't quite notice that first one and rode into it. But yeah, I've for sure been noticing the storms become more erratic and unpredictable, arriving earlier. I think last year the first named storm was in August or September, which is pretty early, and the winds are stronger. Here's another tree that's come down. It's pretty weird to think about how old some trees might be that come down. And obviously trees come down on their own all the time, but it's interesting to think about how some big old oaks might be hundreds of years old and they've never experienced a wind strong enough to blow them down. But now it seems to be much more common that there are winds strong enough to take down such mighty ancient beings. However, I do have to acknowledge that I learned from my girlfriend, who's a botanist, that the real issue is monoculture, and that's why so many trees come down in storms in the UK, because most of our forests are plantation forests for resources, and because there is no variation in the biodiversity, the trees are really weak and much more susceptible to storm damage, which is why massive areas of forest have been flattened in storms of recent years. So here's the bike check. So I've got my PDW full metal fenders, the 65mm version for 26-inch wheels. We got a XTR rapid rise rear derailleur, which I got off eBay, and the original owner put the custom blue bolts in. 9-speed cassette, a little chainstay protector from Blue Lug, cheap brakes, a Blue Lug triangle of course, and the Brooks C17, which I quite like, carved version, pretty comfy. And got an MKS Bear Trap 3 pedals. And that's a Hope bash guard from Retro Mountain Bikes days. Maxxis DTH tires on Rhino Light rims, pretty comfy as well. So it's a hardrock cruz model, which I think they only made those in 1991. That's a Nalgene bottle cage from Blue Lug, which my Nalgene bottle from Extra Vitamins is holding up the bike. Hourly grips. And those are the Nitto M's bar, which is basically an albatross bar, but the second hand position is straighter. Upside down Sunrace thumb shifter in friction mode. A lovely IRD Heron stem with a removable faceplate, I wish there were more quill stems with removable faceplates. Retro hubs. That's the Brick Lane Bikes T-Rack with a walled 137 zip tied on, and my Dark Realm bag, which I think is a super handy bag. I like that it's got little carry straps inside it. That's my light mount. My bell. And that gold headset was actually from Dalry Bicycle Depot as well. Custom anodized. Tongay tubing. These are some old Dior cranks that I sanded the anodizing off. So that's my bike. I love it. It's kind of a polished turd, but it's comfy and super chill to ride. I live in the city of Edinburgh, which is the capital city of Scotland. I recently moved here about a month or two ago. I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a really cool city. It's really unique to me because it has all these old railway lines linking throughout the city as off-road paths for walkers and bikers and people with dogs and all sorts of other non-motor vehicle transport. And it's got lots of trees, and it's, in my opinion, quite a valuable green space where you can move through the city and traverse at a calm pace without the distraction or obstruction of cars and traffic. The council of the city of Edinburgh are proposing to build a tramway here on this section of the bike path, which is called the Roseburn path, which will result in the entire area becoming a construction site and a lot of trees coming down and a compromise to the sanctity and peace of the space. An organisation called Save the Roseburn Path is drawing attention to this and encouraging people to fill out the form that the council has released online as a consultation to raise their concerns. So if you're watching this and you live in Edinburgh, or perhaps somewhere else in Scotland but you visit Edinburgh, check out Save the Roseburn Path if you feel like you benefit from these green spaces in the capital city.
That's one of the saddest things I've ever heard.
But Coach, you'd still be like confined, and you'd still be not allowed to do anything, you know?
Well, Brendan, what do I do anyway? Leave my house, I come here, and I go home. We all live in our own prisons, Brendan.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all trapped in these bodies.
Yeah.
You have to go to school, that's
It's a prison. It's a prison.
Have to be a soccer coach.
It's a prison. It's conversation.
It's a prison.
It's a prison. Can't get out of it.
This glorious too hard I can't get to sleep. You're snoring don't go.